Now, our main news today is about the Metropolitan Police, who've apologised for causing further offence with an apology about an officer's use of the term openly Jewish to an antisemitism campaigner who was near a pro-Palestine march.
You are quite openly Jewish. This is a pro-Palestinian march. I'm not accusing you of anything, but I'm worried about the reaction to your presence.
Well, the chief executive of Campaign Against Antisemitism was wearing a Kapoor skull cap when he was stopped from crossing a road near the demonstration in London last Saturday.
Let's talk to political commentator Peter Spencer, who joins us now. Look, it's a delicate issue in a sense as far as the government goes, because they're trying to balance the rights of people who want to protest against the rights who are anti that particular protest. But to say to someone, you are quite clearly openly Jewish, you shouldn't be in this area, cannot be right, can it? I mean, and how do politicians deal with that, do we think?
The fact is that the world is inflamed on tenterhooks. Is the conflict in the Middle East about to explode into something much, much bigger? And what we have in London is an echo of that tension in microcosm. Now, when it comes to this specific thing, this specific incident, it has to be said that the police are not noted for their linguistic dexterity. Anybody else would say, oh, the bloke was walking up the road, and they have to say, oh, the individual was proceeding in a northerly direction. I mean, they're not good on words, and openly Jewish sounds, it has a sort of a connotation of saying, like, you're openly gay. Well, look, they changed the law now, so you're allowed to be gay, but they still place that inflection on the terminology. That said, you watch that video, and the police officer in question was very clearly not trying to be horrid to this man. What he was trying to say was, look, you're in some danger because you are wearing a Kippur skull cap, and there is a demonstration going on which is opposed to the actions of the Israeli government. And so the policeman, to some extent, was placed in an absolutely impossible situation. And I have to say that this situation will perpetuate until things in the Middle East, God willing, simmer down a bit.
Peter, we were talking just over a month ago now, weren't we, about the government's counter-extremism commissioner warning that London had become a no-go zone for Jews. That was a warning about 6 weeks ago. Well, this would suggest that that's true, isn't it? This man was not there in his position to counter-protest. He was actually just trying to cross the road, he says, after leaving the synagogue. And that would suggest it is a no-go zone.
It is, I come back to it, is a very, very tense situation. No-go zone, I mean, those words themselves have got sort of rather powerful and decidedly scary connotations. But the fact is that when you've got a bunch of people, a large bunch of people feeling extremely upset about a certain thing, then it is unfortunate that you get someone of potentially the opposing view to be close by. I don't usually hold a great candle for knacker of the yard, but on this occasion, I do feel that they are placed in an extremely difficult position. And thus far, I would add that I think they've actually handled the situation, the overall situation of protests and counter-protests with a great deal of skill and delicacy, because of the fact that, you know, there have been suggestions in the past, well, you can't have these demonstrations, you've got to break them up, and they very wisely thought if we try to do that, we'll have to bring the army in. And so they will carry on having difficult situations and potential confrontations, and they are doing the very best they can in a bordering on impossible situation.
OK. Peter, for now, Thanks very much indeed. Well, the Metropolitan Police released an initial statement saying in recent weeks we've seen a new trend emerge with those opposed to the main protests appearing along the route to express their views. The fact that those who do this often film themselves while doing so suggests that they must know their presence is provocative, that they're inviting a response and they're increasing the likelihood of an altercation.
Well, the Metropolitan Police then deleted that first statement and released a fresh one, saying, "We have reflected on the strength of the response to our previous statement. In an effort to make a point about the policing of protest, we caused further offence. This was never our intention. We have removed that statement and we apologise. Being Jewish is not a provocation. Jewish Londoners must be able to feel safe in this city."